Hello, this is Chinese Made Simple, and this will be one of the 4 videos in complementary with the exercise book Chinese Made Easy, taught at Pomudi Secondary School. Our first lesson will be about pinyin, and to begin, all pinyin are composed of the 26 letters in the English alphabet. For pinyin, there are in total 4 tones. Each of the tones will only be on the vowels in each pinyin. So let's begin with the 5 vowels. A, E, I, O, and U. These tones will always be written above each vowel. As an example, we'll begin with the counting numbers. 1, denoted by a single horizontal line in Chinese. This is written with the pinyin yi, with a flat line over the I. The flat tone should be spoken in a normal voice without any emphasis or extra intonation. In contrast, the second tone will be used with the letter 10, much like a cross. It is said as 10. Note that the I has a inflection towards the upper point, and this should be said with a raised voice as one would do at the end of a question. And following that is our third tone, which is denoted by a half check mark. And we'll use the example of 5, 5. This is the 5th number, or 5 in Chinese. And the pinyin for this is W, U. And the half check mark on top of the U. The half check mark represents the third tone, and the third tone should be spoken with a stressed and deep tone, as if one is speaking with a reserved attitude. And in contrast to that is arise with our fourth tone, and that will use the number 2, which is just 2 horizontal lines. And it is one more than the number 1, which only has 1 horizontal line. And this is said to as In English, or its pinyin will be ER. And it will be the 4th tone. As suggested, it is spoken outright without any reservation. Almost the opposite as 5 earlier. 5. There seems to be a reservation tone for the number 5, 5, whereas for the number 2, there is no such reservation. And here we have the 4 symbols together. Begin with the first symbol, which is just a flat line, and that will note as 1. For our second symbol, it will be an inflection towards the right upper corner, and we'll denote that as 2. For our third symbol, it will be, as we have said, a half check mark, and that will be our third tone, a reserved tone, reserved and deep tone. For our last and final tone, it will be a downward inflection towards the bottom right corner, and that will denote it as the fourth tone. Notice that in the previous example, the I's are written not with the symbols on top of the vowels. In fact, the symbols take place for the dot in the I. So for the first symbol, I will be depicted as a flat line, the flat line replacing the dot. For the second tone, the dot will be replaced with the upward inflection. And for the third tone, it will be replaced with a half check mark. And for the final tone, I think you get it by now that the dot will be replaced with a downward inflection. And here are some other words, other pinyings, to practice whether you really understand the four tones or you need more practice. For this word, which tone is this word? And yes, 小 is the third tone. And our next word, 大 and yes, 大 is the fourth tone. Be aware that in pinyin, made out of only 4 tones, each tone, the same pinyin, can represent a variety of different words. Now let's go back to the example of 1 in Chinese, which is, as you will remember, a straight horizontal line. And it is, as you will well remember, the first tone, E. But the same pinyin can be used to describe another word, this word. And it is with the same pinyin. As you can see, the two words are different, despite having the same pinyin. To provide another example with the second tone, we'll use 2 words that you have not seen before. Which means doubt. And this is with the pinyin E of the second tone. Similarly, we have which means E, and it means aunt. With this example, it demonstrates that despite having the same tone, the two words are 2 different words with 2 different meanings. So, from these 2 examples, E and E, it shows that despite having the same pinyin, it does not necessarily mean that the same pinyin will have the same meaning, or will come to represent the same word. And we'll use further 2 examples to show that the same pinyin may not mean the same word, and as a result, not being the same word, will come to represent 2 different meanings. I will use the third intonation, yi, here, and another one, yi. From the pinyin alone, you should think that they will mean the same thing, as they both have the same pinyin. But when I write out the words, which means chair, and another, which means the second place in the Chinese grading system. So we'll put second grading system. As you can see, despite having the same pinyin, the two words are different. And as a result of the differences in character, their meanings in English or their definitions is different. For our last example, we'll use the fourth tone to recapitulate our tone lesson today. We'll use, yes, the exact same pinyin except in the fourth tone. As you can see, for the four tones, the tones are inscribed in place of the I in the dot, the dot in the I. E, and another E. And we'll use two different words because we're trying to show that even the same pinyin will result in two different words. E, which means unique, and E, which means we don't know yet, or E, which means 10 million. Again, using the fourth tone, we show that E and E, despite having the same pinyin, means two different things. One being unique, E, and another E, but means 10 million. For our lesson today, we learned that there are only 4 pinyins denoted above the vowels in each character's pinyin. And each pinyin is composed of the English alphabet. And lastly, the same pinyin may represent two different words, as we have just learned. E, which means unique, and E, which means 10 million. And thank you.